the second round. Both of these players won 9-0 earlier today. There is Carlo Biado, one of the best in the world. Got through without losing a rack against Sorin Victor Demofte of Romania. And JJ Faul also seeing off a player from Eastern Europe, Andy Getchi of Albania, by the same score. So if you win this, you're through to winners qualification, which effectively means you're one away from the single elimination stage, which this year will be 64 players. It was just 16 last year. Carl Boys alongside me. JJ Faul, someone who hasn't achieved a huge amount, but over the last couple of years he's had some good results, and one particularly good one in this event last year.
Yeah, JJ Faul owns a club in Manchester, Whitefield to be exact, called Savannahs. His main game a few years ago was the red and yellows, English 8-ball, but started to play 9-ball in his club and really enjoyed it, and wanted to travel around the world and play in some of these big majors. And what a match he's faced with here as he takes on, well, one of the legends of the game.
Yeah, he is facing a former world champion, but he knocked out a former winner of that title from this event last year, Ko Pin Yi, who had been sent to the loser's side and was then knocked out of the event altogether. So clearly Faul, someone who's comfortable playing a big name. One of 3 South Africans in the field here.
Good opening break for JJ. He's got to look at this table. These simply have to disappear if you're going to beat the likes of Carlo Biado in this tournament. These are the opportunities that you have to take. Decent enough curiosities, JJ. He's not going to be scared of playing the big plays. He's going to look at it as an opportunity. Yeah, this is all okay. He's nicely on the purple 5. This is just make sure you don't do anything silly. And what I mean by that is obviously miss an easy ball. But then the worst thing you could do is like leave yourself straight on this brown 7. Any angle on this brown 7, you can't fail to get over for the 8-ball. So you just make life a lot easier for yourself. Yeah, he played it firm just to get the cue ball out. 6-ball didn't go in clean, but it went in.
Well, if you're playing one of the best players in the world, show early on that you've come to compete, and no better way of doing that than running out from the break in the opening rack. And it looks as though JJ Faul is going to do exactly that.
Yeah, well said, Michael. And the reason why this is so important, because Biado isn't going to be sure what his first visit to the table will be, or certainly what it will look like. So makes a big difference. JJ Faul with the first.
Yeah, looked very comfortable and relaxed in doing it as well. Alban Ocean clinging on. He's won rack 12 against Phil Wildman, but still got so much to do. He's trailing 8-4 there at the moment. Sullivan Clark of New Zealand, 7-1 up against Harry Tinknell of the home contingent. And Darren Appleton, British player, trailing 7-4 against Talal Al-Blushi. I know Darren's a good mate of yours. It's just great to see him here, Carl. Have you been talking to him about his health after all his struggles?
I haven't seen him here as such, but obviously I went to Scotland, he was there, so I had a few chats with him. I still don't think he's 100% himself, but obviously Darren's Darren. He's still here, wants to compete, wants to try and find some form. He's down 8-4 in that match now, so he's got it all to do.
Yeah, Al-Blushi just taking rack 12 while we were talking there. And Tobias Bolt on the brink of going through to face Shane Van Boning. 8-5 up against Stephen Della Pietra. JJ Faul leading 1-0 here.
Made the 8 ball, I'm not sure which pocket it went in. But he's not got an open look at this 1 ball to pot it, so it's going to be safety. Where me and Michael are sat, we're sat up high in this arena here at the Copper Box, so we've got a good view of all the tables, and Albion Ocean has won another rack. He's still at the table, so can he dig deep and find a win there? That doesn't look too bad. Yeah, he's not got Carlo in a snooker, but how do you play safe from this position? This looks very difficult. Can only see the left edge. Can't exactly roll it slow and use the 6th ball. You may just have to kind of not try and play a snooker and just get a good cue ball back down the bottom end of the table and leave distance. Okay, let's see what Carlo is going to attempt here. Yeah, I believe that's what he's tried, just to leave distance. He'll be happy with where that's finished.
You played against JJ Faul, didn't you, in the World Cup a couple of years ago when you made your brief comeback? South Africa ran you pretty close, as I recall.
Yeah, that was the opening round that me and Darren played. Yeah, it's another decent safety shot from JJ, just keeping it tight.
Yeah, he was playing for South Africa alongside Richard Halliday in that World Cup.
Just looking to see if there's a gap there. There is a gap, but he would have to play it with loads of right spin. The players are never just looking to hit the ball, they're looking to hit this ball and try and make something happen. So he's trying to pot the brown 7 here. And pot the brown 7 he did. Carlo Biado with a beauty in rack 2. Just so good in them situations. So often they make good things come from a tricky spot. Good to see him back, Michael, isn't it? In one of these major 9-ball events on the World 9-ball Tour.
Yeah, he had his visa and travel issues, and when you're trying to really build up all these new events like this and the European Open and the other new tournaments that are coming along, you want the very best names in them. Had a really good run at the US Open, where he was looking to become just the 5th player to successfully defend the title. Ended up getting to the semi-finals.
May go close to potting this in the middle. May scratch in the top right. What angle has Carlo got here? You can see there, can't you? The 3-9 is sitting very nice for a combo. So first player to get on the blue 2 and pop the blue 2 will win this rack. All depends on what angle he's got here. Looks dead straight to me. So does he have to draw this back? Oh, this is a nasty one. I'll tell you what, he missed that by some way. He really did. I mean, you'd expect him to hit the jaw. He missed that by an absolute mile.
Yeah, you could watch Carlo Biado for an entire tournament and not see him miss one by that margin. That 3-9 combination you picked out earlier on, the one is now interfering with that plan.
Now JJ can play a deliberate. That is allowed. I'm not saying he's going to, by the way, but yeah, he could roll the purple 5 onto the blue 2, make that a dead ball. And obviously Carlo's got ball in hand, but can't get on the 2. There's his pace, yeah, that's okay. Now, I wonder if Carlo's going to attempt something that you very rarely see on the pool table. I'm wondering, can he roll the red 3 ball in front of the 1 so there's no gap? So there's no gap for the cue ball to go through. And that would mean JJ, he's already on 1 foul, and then how does it hit the 1 ball with ball in hand? You see it now, I mean it's very rare, he's not attempting it, but you can kind of see what I was getting at.
It's the kind of thinking that made you a legend of the game, Carl.
A legend, that's a strong statement. Talking of legends, Albion Ocean, he's at the table, and he's on the 8 ball. What score are we at there, Michael?
It's 8-5, so looking to go 8-6. Yeah. Oh, watch this. No, he's fine. It's just what I was saying about the 1 interfering with the 3-9 combination. Obviously, it was going to be removed from there at some point, but the question was, in potting the 1, would the 3-9 combination be disturbed? And it hasn't been at all, so now that's back on as a possibility.
I don't know if the bank shot is on. I don't know if the 2 ball has got the path. I think that's what he's been looking at. No, he's playing cue ball in behind 6, maybe the 4. Oh, the bank was on. Well, it was on. It was definitely on. But with Carlo not making the bank, JJ's got a great chance to win rack 2.
Yeah, just all about potting the blue 2, really, because it was pretty much guaranteed to drop on to 3-9 combination. So 2 very different racks to start the match. But JJ Faul has won them both, and he leads Carlo Biado 2-0. Tobias Bolt will be the next opponent for Shane Van Boning. He's 1-9-5 against Stephen Della Pietra. John Morra has also closed it out, 9-1 against Sean Beresford. And Albion Ocean continuing his revival. He does now close to 8-6 behind against Phil Wildman. And Lucius Yap not too far away from the next round, leading James Welch 7-3. And snooker star Gary Wilson playing in the UK Open for the second year in a row. 6-1 up on Joe Granville. Poland's Thomas Kaplan going even better with a 7-1 lead over James Lee. All of these matches that I'm referring to, remember, are opening matches. What we're watching here on the main table, Biado and Faul, it's the second match for both of them. And also in that round, Lo Ho Sum, former World Masters finalist, has taken the opener against Antonius Kakaris, one of the sizable Greek contingent here. Dimitri Youngo has won the first against Britain's James Jack. And Wu Kun Lin is just starting against David De Santis, so that's one that we'll be keeping an eye on as well. Darren Appleton has now lost his match to Talal Al-Blushi by 9 racks to 5. Back here, JJ Faul leading 2-0.
Yeah, good break. Made the one.
It's one of those players who doesn't look to be hitting it that hard off the break, but then makes quite an impact. So it looks a bit effortless for him, which is great if you can do it.
Oh, he's caught the rail first there. That's why the cue balls ended up there. He was playing for the red 3 in the left centre. Because the cue ball just caught the rail first, that's why it took that path. He was trying to go 2 rails. And it was a good chance off the break when you look at the way the table is laid out. Still playing it in the middle. That will prove to be costly, still early days, but you can often see these things where they change the momentum of the match, don't they? So what can Biado do here?
And we saw that in the last match on this table. Nuttinen, the Finnish player, had his chances early on to make a fight of it against Shane Van Bonen, and once he passed up those chances, really the American just took total control.
We spoke about Albin Ocean. Albin's at the table in that match. So he was 8-3 down, I believe.
Yeah, only 8-6 now.
What a beautiful positional shot that was from Carlo. It really was. That was not easy. He got the cue ball flying around the table. It pulled up absolutely perfect.
One of 11 players to have won both the World Championship and the US Open. The two standout individual events in the sport. He was a few racks away from being only the second player in history, after Earl Strickland, to successfully defend the world title. Won it in 2017, beat Roland Garcia, the only time it's been two Philippines players up against each other in the final. And then it was a match away from winning it again the following year after beating Shane Van Bonen in the semi-finals. Went down 13-10 in the final to Joshua Filler. JJ Faul's break in this rack gave him a decent chance for 3-0, but he didn't get very far with it. And as a result, he's been sitting it out for the rest of the rack. Which turns out to be the first rack that Carlo Biado has won in this match. He's back to 2-1 down. Gary Wilson on the hill now at 8-1 against Joe Granville. And Lucius Yap is on the hill as well, leading Britain's James Welch by 8 racks to 3. And Luong Duc Tien While Vietnam is on the hill against Dutchman Rico Deeks at 8-4. Thomas Kaplan, another player on the brink of victory, 8-1 in front against James Lee. So it could be a lot of players going through to the next round in the next few minutes. Alban Ocean may yet be one of them because he's closed to 8-7 now against Phil Wildman. Day 1 of 6 here at the Copper Box with the UK Open. First staged last year, won by Joshua Filler. One of many new events like this being started by Matchroom. We had the first European Open in Fulda in Germany last summer. We'll be back there a little later this summer. We've also got the Spanish Open and Asian Open. Same format as this being added to the calendar. Biado 2-1 down.
No shot on the blue 2. This is what 9-ball is about. All you can do is break the balls. And then after that, everything else is kind of out of your hand. And then this is the table Biado has been dealt with. This is where the creativity and the shot selection and everything like that comes to use with these top boys, because when you play a push out, he's going to tempt JJ Faul into looks like a bank. Well, I'm not too sure about that. Not saying he's left him loads, but the fact that he can just, you know, cue the ball, he's quite close to it. You would think JJ can come with something half decent here. I'll be delighted with the outcome of that, because he did not play that shot that way. Definitely did not. Yeah, the 2 just clips the 9 and then ends up sitting right behind it. You can clearly see a piece of the 2, but if you can't play the blue 2 onto the purple 5 that's over the pocket, what can you do? Wow, has the jaw come to his rescue? I think he's playing a little swerve shot around the knuckle. Yep, wasn't quite there. Biado was fortunate on his previous shot. He really was.
Much like Shane Van Boning, who we saw in the previous match on this table, Biado will be 40 this year on the last day of October. Where would you rank Biado, Carl, among the best players we've seen over the last 5 to 10 years?
Yeah, he's definitely up there for me, without a doubt. He definitely comes into the bracket of, if you had to pick 8 players who would win this event, I think he would be in many people's list. Real cool operator, very good under pressure, very creative, very good when the balls are awkward, you know. Obviously a lot of these players are good when it's all break and run the table, when they're all caught over the pocket, but just when the table keeps breaking awkward, he's very, very good in that department.
How quickly things can turn around. Faul looked to have a chance perhaps for 3-0. Here we are now, only about 10 minutes or so later. He's been pegged back to level terms at 2 each. Now news of more winners. Thomas Kaplan has beaten James Lee 9-1. It looks as though he's going to play snooker player Gary Wilson in the next round. Wilson now 8-2 in front of Joe Granville. And Lucius Yap, who Carlos Biado beat in that US Open final a couple of years ago. As you can see some of the scores going through there. Well, Yap has won 9-3 against James Welch. And news of Albin Ocean is that he's still clinging on, 8-7 down against Phil Wildman. A real kickstart to his campaign if he can turn that one around, having been so far behind at one stage. And Kevin May of Britain is going very well on table 6 against Ko Ping Han. May leading 6-5. 2-all here. I'm hearing some oohs and ahs coming, I think, from that Ocean match that you're keeping an eye on. Carl, what can you tell us?
Yeah, Phil Wildman played a jump shot from out of a snooker and nearly fluked it in the side pocket. He just stopped. And obviously, we're in London, and I'm sure the crowd, there's a big, big crowd around that table. Not sure what Albin's left with. I'm not sure if Albin Ocean can pot the 6th ball, but we'll keep you posted as always as Biado. This is the 1 ball. I think JJ could probably snip this ball in actually. I think he can get the little edge and just cut it in that right hand corner. Oh, we're talking about the Albin. Now Albin's got the jump cue out, so he's trying to jump over a ball and pot the 6th ball over the pocket.
Well, I think you were right. The chance to pot the 1 was there. Hasn't quite worked out. Could have finished worse.
Well, let me tell you, Michael, Albin Ocean did pot the 6 and get on the 7. It was absolute dead silence. That is the ruthlessness of a home crowd. They're all crowding around that table. Albin's really getting put through it over there because he knows everyone wants Phil to win that match.
It's like when a football team playing away from home scores a goal and you wonder for a moment if it's been disallowed because everyone just goes quiet.
Not enough swerve on the cue ball. Ball in hand, place it anywhere you want.
Yeah, second chance for Faul to pot this 1 ball. He certainly won't be missing this, and a chance to reassert himself here. What's going on there, Carl? I'm hearing big cheers from that table. Is it over?
Yeah, Albin Ocean missed the 8 ball and just basically knocked the ball up the table. Didn't even let Phil Wildman pot the 8 to get to 9, and then Phil Wildman You give it a little bit of a football celebration, and you heard the noise. Big win there for Phil Wildman as he beats Albin Ocean, sells Albin over to the loser side. That's the biggest story of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. We were saying earlier that you'll see on the opening day of an event like this, most of the big names progress quite comfortably, but there are always going to be one or two who struggle. And Albin Ocean has certainly lived up to that. So Phil Wildman will now go through to an all-British clash with Paul Taylor or Graham Hamilton. Taylor leading 6-5 at the moment. Don't forget, of course, though, Carl, FSR went out in his opening match last year and got through the loser side and ended up in the final.
Yeah, Carlo will be delighted when them balls have finished. JJ's got it all to do now. This is going to be very difficult to play safe. Yeah, last year FSR lost the opening match. Very difficult to do. Now Albin finds himself over on the left side of the draw, and you just feel like you've got to win a ton of matches to get through to that final 16.
What do you know about Phil Wildman, Carl? What can you tell us about him for people who aren't familiar with him?
Yeah, I mean, he's been around the English 9-ball scene for a while. He runs an amateur tour also, but I mean, back in the day when he played on the GB9, back when I was competing, he never really did anything. You know, I don't recall him winning GB9 ball tour or anything, or yeah, he just sort of summed you like an amateur 9-ball player. It was always like a steady enough curious. But the thing is with 9-ball is it's always been very difficult for players to, you know, try and do it for a living or attempt it, because the rewards have never really been there. So the fact that we're obviously getting more and more tournaments added to the World 9-ball Tour and these open events, it allows players like Phil Wildman to enter, and chances are, I mean, obviously beating the likes of Albin and getting his name out there and getting the confidence, who knows? Who knows what might come? Look at Mohamed Soufi, who got to the final of the World 9-ball Championships, losing out to FSR. He kind of come from nowhere.
I think back to last year, we saw a few British players make a little bit of a name for themselves, but in the end it was an old stager, Imran Majid, who was the only one who got through to the later stages, made it to the last 16. Maybe this year it's going to be a bit different, and we'll see some of the lesser known British names go really deep. Certainly a huge home contingent in the field this year.
Well, he's lost the cue ball a fair bit there. Little tester, should have been a lot straighter on this ball. Yeah, well done.
Yeah, break and run for JJ Faul in the opening rack. 3-9 combination then for 2-0. Had a chance for 3-0, but having passed it up, he's now lost 3 in a row. And Biado leads for the first time in this match at 3-2. Wu Kunlin, world semi-finalist, is in action over on the other main table and has lost the third rack, but leads David DeSantis 2-1.
Are we going to get to see Carlo Biado really kick on now in this match? Balls have not been too kind for him after the break, so he's had tricky table layouts, he's had to play a few safeties. Far too thin on the break. Lost the cue ball. Come near the corner pocket. Have a look at the cue ball here. It was a little bit too thin. One ball was close. Anyway, dry break. Chance for JJ. Yeah, when he puts this yellow one, cue ball's coming a little bit to the right, which is okay. But then he'll have a big angle on the 2. And after the blue 2, he's got to hold for the red 3 ball. And he's missed the 1 ball. Forgot to pop the ball.
And we see it so often, don't we, when we have a situation where you've got a big name against someone who wouldn't be quite so accustomed to being out there in this environment. Once that player starts to miss 1 or 2, you can often start to miss quite a lot of balls that you don't necessarily expect. And of course, Biado is experienced enough to sense that. It only frees him up even more. JJ Faul looked very comfortable early on and very at home, very relaxed. Just the body language signs in the last few racks when he has been at the table have suggested a different story.
Carlo would love to finish high on the brown 7. High of the potting angle is what I mean. Yeah, you see where the cue ball's going to finish now? That means he can just pop this ball and the cue ball's coming down the table. Didn't have to travel up the table and come back down. So this just means he's making his life easier.
Not exactly firing off the break quite yet in this match, but Carlo Biado is bit by bit taking control of it. He's now won 4 racks in a row. It's another chance passed up by JJ Faul. And Biado goes 2 clear at 4-2. Vietnam, one of the rising nations of the 9-ball game. Long Duc Tien very much at the forefront of that. And he's beaten the Dutchman Rico Deeks in the last few minutes by 9 racks to 5. And Gary Wilson has completed his match against Joe Granville, the all-British clash. Wilson the winner, 9-2, so 3 out of 3 for the snooker professionals so far, after wins earlier for Jack Lazowski and David Lilly. All those are opening matches. In the round we're watching here, which is second match for these players, Dimitri Yongo of Switzerland, 3-1 up on James Jack. Badr Alawadi has won the first 3 against Nick Malai of Greece. Loho Sum, former World Masters finalist, also leading 3-0 against Antonios Kakaris. Chang Young Lin in action, but has lost the first rack to Kim Soo Garmark of Norway. Tyler Steyer has also lost the first against Walter Lacra of Sweden. And the all-British clash, Welshman Marcel Price leading 1-0 against Elliot Sanderson. So that's the second match for all of those players, as it is for these two. And it's Carlo Biado who's having the better of it at the moment. From 2-0 down against JJ Faul, he's really turned it around and now leads 4-2.
Yeah, this is a lot better. Look at what Carlo's faced with here. The 1, 2 and the 3 are all next to each other.
Not seen a huge amount of close finishes so far today, but there is one going on over on table 23. Georgi Georgiev of Bulgaria against Oliver Lawrence of the home contingent. It's 7-all there. If you are just joining us, I can tell you the big story so far today is that the two-time world champion, Albin Ocean, has been sent straight away to the loser's side after a 9-7 defeat to Phil Wildman. And a lot of players coming from that culture, coming from the British scene in this field, Carl, who wouldn't be used to playing in this tournament, or a tournament like this. That's going to give them a G-up, isn't it, to see one of their own beat one of the very best in the world.
Yeah, I agree, Michael. Well said. And of course, a lot of the players from Britain, they're obviously going to be decent cueists because they've all kind of grown up around that snooker sort of heritage, English 8-ball, where you cue a little bit different to how 9-ball pool players cue. So they've always been pretty good potters of the ball.
There's always that question, well, can I really compete against someone who's near the top of the world rankings? Well, Phil Wildman has shown them that maybe they can. You often see that in sporting events. One surprise result leads to a whole load of them.
Yeah, and of course it's going to be interesting to see how Phil Wildman moves on in this event, and of course see how Albin can grind his way through the left side of the draw. Biado's on one now. You feel like he's kicked on, he's relaxed a little bit, he's had a little bit of table time.
Yeah, looks so much more comfortable now, doesn't he? Run out from the break there, and always a positive sign when you see the player having just won a rack, getting the balls out, wanting to get on with the next one. And Carlo Biado now leads 5-2. Ko Ping Han has staged a bit of a turnaround and now leads Kevin May 7-6. Tolian Han of Singapore 7-5 up on Michael Turkowski of Poland. Although that's now just been closed to 7-6 while I was talking. Badr Alawadi in this round has stretched his lead to 4-0 over Nick Malai. And Kim Soo Garmark, looking to pull off a big upset against Chang Young Lin, has added the second rack to lead 2-0. That is in this round. The day's opening round action drawing to a conclusion. And all the focus turning now to this round. And Jack Lazowski, who we saw winning on the main table earlier, one of the world's leading snooker players, and he's starting out on table 5 against Poland's Mieszko Fortunski. That's going to be a much bigger test for him. Biado 5-2 up here.
Well, JJ's getting back out of his chair. It's a dry break. I wonder if the 1 passes the 2 though. Surely it can't, because he's not even looked at it, has he? So I think he's playing safe. Or maybe he's having a look now. This very situation is the type of situation I really enjoy watching. The Filipinos, not just Carlo, you know, they've got some legends of pool over there. They're so creative at making good things happen from a bad situation like this. Let's have a look what Biado can do. And there is a prime example, Michael. Look at what he's done there. He's kicked the cue ball into the 1, played a kick and stick, and got the 1 ball out of there off the edge of the pink for what a shot.
Yeah, he won't actually be at the World Cup of Pool for the Philippines, Biado. He'll be represented in Spain in a few weeks' time by James Oranis and Johan Chua.
JJ with the short stick. Where's the ball's going to end up? Is it his day? No, I think he's left Biado a pot. Cue ball may be coming away though. So the issue is going to be trying to get on the blue too.
Christian Surdea of Romania is the latest winner, beating Robin Cripps 9-3 and now going through to play Talal Al-Blushi of Kuwait, who beat Darren Appleton earlier.
Let's have a look at the magic here. Watch the cue ball. It's going up table. He's got to try and find a path. Yeah, Jack Lazowski's playing Mieszko Fortunski on the very table where we've just seen Albin Ocean lose. Jack struggled in his opening match. He's got a big test over there against Fortunski though, he really has. That was awkward, wasn't it? There was too many balls up there. He was just trying to find a gap.
Yeah, just looking at that Lazowski match, you think of Judd obviously at the US Open a couple of years ago, and we've seen one or two other examples. The snooker players come to play in these events. They're beating inexperienced opponents in the early rounds, but generally when they face a top player, they get beaten quite heavily, so it'll be interesting to see if history repeats itself there. For Fortunski, someone who was looking like he was on the brink of becoming a real top player a couple of years ago, hasn't kicked on the way we thought he might. Still very young, of course. So many Polish players vying to be the first to really break through at the highest level.
Yeah, it was a previous kick shot from Carlo on the blue too. Just to leave distance. It seemed like it was a lucky shot, but they have a knack of always just getting that distance. And, you know, whenever you leave distance on a pool table and there's a few balls left, good things can always happen in your favour, especially when the Filipinos are kicking. You always feel like they're just so good in that department. I feel like Carlo started off a little bit edgy as well, you know, he's back in sort of a big pool tournament. You kind of just need a few wins under your belt.
Well, this match now is really turning out so similar to the Van Boning one we saw a little earlier. Close start, the outsider missed a couple of chances. And the vastly experienced name is picking him off and just streaking away. It's now 6-2 to Carlo Biado. So let's look at some other scores. Winner of this will go through to winners qualification and play the winner of James Jack and Dimitri Yongo. And it's Yongo, who was part of the Switzerland team, who got to the quarterfinals of the World Cup of Pool last year, who's leading at the moment, 4-2. Badr Alawadi going really well, 6-0 in front against Nicholas Malai. Loho Sum also off to a flyer with a 4-0 advantage over Antonius Kakaris. Chang Yunglin is off the mark against Kim Soo Garmark. The Norwegian still leading. It's now 2-1 there. Marcel Price 3-0 ahead in the All-British encounter with Elliot Sanderson. And American Mosconi Cup player Tyler Steyer has lost the first 2 racks to Walter Lekra of Sweden. Wu Kun Lin going well, 4-1 up against David DeSantis. Carlo Biado going even better. He leads 6-2 here.
That's the break right there. That is the break the players are attempting. Cut on the one. Watch the cue ball arc below the pack after it hits the rail. Yeah, often just goes below the 9. Sanchez Ruiz very good at that break.
Yeah, we won't be seeing Sanchez Ruiz today. He'll be featuring tomorrow, starting out against Bash Maksoud.
I think as the week goes on, well, even today, we'll see a lot of balls missed in the side pockets. I wouldn't say I was helping Jack, but I was kind of explaining the rules last night for 2 or 3 hours with him and just trying to give him a few pointers. Sanchez was there, Shaw was there. He was having a good laugh with him, and he couldn't believe how tight the middles was from certain angles.
Yeah, I think it's good to see guys like that playing in this event. You think back to the early days of the Mosconi when we had so many snooker players playing in them, and I think that really helped raise the profile of it in Britain, and it can only help having the likes of Lazowski. One of the nicest lads you could meet.
Gonna need something special here. He will not be attempting the combination. Well, look at this. He just finds shots, Michael, that you don't even spot. What a pot he's played there, by the way. Look how's he even took that on.
Sort of shot that can make you look a bit foolish if it doesn't come off. Pot in it. Made him look like the world beater we know he is. Not many hill finishes so far today, but there is one going on table 23 between Bulgaria's Georgi Georgiev and home player Oliver Lawrence. Winner of that will play New Zealander Sullivan Clark, who was a 9-1 winner over Harry Tinknell a short time ago.
Harry Tinknell, he's a professional racing driver. Races in the Le Mans.
Fair to say he got lapped by Sullivan Clark. Sorry, I had to do at least one. I'll probably have a few more later.
Yeah, I don't believe that shot was on. You almost have to soft draw it off the rail to create an angle, but it always looked a little bit too steep.
So frustrating, isn't it, when a match is slipping away from you and it feels like most times you're coming to the table, you're finding yourself in a position like that, which I think has been the case for Faul. He may not be back to the table at all in this rack. Seems a really long time since he was leading 2-0 and had a chance to go further clear. And Biado attempts to make it 7-2 here. Just keep you up to date on a couple of matches in the previous round that are heading for close finishes. Ko Ping Han has struggled a lot of the way to shake off Kevin May, but is now on the hill at 8-7, and it's 7-all between Tolian Han and Michael Turkowski. Also 7-all between Michael Olek of Poland and Britain's James Telfer. So just a few matches left to be completed in today's part of that opening round. Still some close climaxes in prospect. And in fact, Kevin May has just taken it hill against Ko Ping Han on table 6. And once again, Biado given the chance and has availed of it to the full. So that's now 7-2. It's not write him off entirely yet, but very hard to see any way back for JJ Faul from this situation, the way the match is panning out. Let's look then at some of the scores in this round. Remember, they're playing to get through to winners' qualification here. Dimitri Yongo is now 5-2 up on James Jack. Winner of that will play the winner of this Biado match. Badr Alawadi now has a 7-0 lead over Nicholas Molloy. Kim Soo Garmark has just regained the lead at 3-2 over Chang Young Lin. Marcel Price flying at 4-0 now against Elliot Sanderson. And Walter Lacra of Sweden is leading the American Tyler Steyer 3-0. Wu Kun Lin going along nicely, 5-1 up on David DeSantis. And snooker star Jack Lazowski is level at 1 apiece against Mieszko Fortunski. As we're saying, has still got a lot to prove at the highest level in the biggest events. Looked like he was heading to become one of the very top players a couple of years ago. Still plenty of time for him to do that, but hasn't really done much in the Matchroom tournaments the last couple of years. This man has, and he's leading 7-2. And is it about to go to 8? Ooh, so close.
Yeah, it just flicked off the ball, didn't it? And made its way up to that corner pocket. Now, is he going to attempt something here? Is he going to play the sensible shot, or is he going to play the exhibition shot? Looks like the sensible one is the order of the day. JJ may attempt to try and get in behind this 2-ball somehow and kick it onto the 9. Could also go up the top end of the table, try and put the 2 in the right corner, and then use the 3. Couple of options here for JJ. That's what he's attempting. If he pots this ball, I think he'll have a shot on the 3-9 combo. It's close, you know. It's close. Maybe we'll see Biado attempt a 2-9 combo. If he does, he'll try and find cover with the cue ball somewhere. You won't want just to attack this ball and leave the cue ball free. He'll try and get it in behind somewhere. Maybe using the green 6 somehow. He's missed it.
That hill finish on table 23 has gone the way of Georgi Georgiev of Bulgaria against Britain's Oliver Lawrence. So Georgiev through to play Sullivan Clark of New Zealand.
Tried to play the combo there, JJ, but just because the cue ball was right on top of the 8 and you're striking down, it just seems so hard to visualise it and get it where you want to go. Hello, is he drawing the cue ball back into the 9? So he's tried, and that is what he has got. What a shot to get himself on the hill there from the former US Open champion. What a beauty.
Yeah, another look at it. That 9 was sitting tantalisingly there for the last few minutes. Earlier, Biado had almost knocked it in there. It was flicked by the 3, just gave it that little injection of extra pace that you thought might take it to the pocket. Didn't quite manage it, but you knew Biado would straight away be sniffing for a way to get rid of it, and that's how he gets to the hill at 8-2. Dimitri Yongo now 6-2 up on James Jack. Winner of that plays the winner of this one. Nicholas Malai has averted the whitewash by winning rack 8. Now trails Badr Alawadi 7-1. And Mieszko Fortunski has won the 3rd rack to lead 2-1 against Jack Lazowski. Eklund Kachi, runner-up in the World Masters. He started his match now in this 2nd round and has taken the opening rack against Ion Ladanyi of Romania.
Yeah, the break from Carlo's been a little bit inconsistent in this match. Sometimes he's really found the one ball on the side, others it's just not quite been there. So I think after this match that's something he will be working on. But he's straight back to the table as JJ misses the 1. Got to try and find a gap here though to get on the blue 2. Anywhere past that 8 ball would be okay.
Another result to bring you from the opening round. Adam Smith has won the All-British Clash with Craig Brown 9-4 and will now play Moritz Neuhausen, the highly rated and rapidly improving German, in the next round. Well, a little bit of a test, that shot, but so much easier when the circumstance of the match has taken all the pressure off you. Seems a long time now since he was 2-0 down.
Yeah, since being 2 down and the game was been a bit tricky, he's overall he's played okay. He'll need to up the game a little bit more, especially the break, but you do feel like he will play a big part come the end of this tournament somehow.
JJ Faul will be left to have a few regrets about the match, some of the chances he's missed. I think he could have had a bit more good fortune at times. It felt when he came to the table, he was often finding himself in frustrating positions, and even when he did get chances, the balls didn't fall quite the way he would have liked. Bottom line is, he knows he could and should have played better and needed to have a chance to be one of the best around. Carlo Biado will be back on Thursday for winners qualification. Because by winning 9 racks in a row, he's clinched his place there, beating JJ Faul of South Africa 9-2.